If you're a Christian and you're thinking about buying a business, you might be focusing on the wrong things and it could cost you more than just money because the biggest mistake isn't bad deals, it's people going in the right deal but for the wrong reasons. And more believers are getting interested in buying business, and on the surface, it makes sense. You can step into revenue, build something faster, and create impact. But here's a reality I want to share with you, and I've known this from personal experience. Buying a business isn't just a financial decision, it's actually a spiritual decision and it's a leadership decision. And if you don't think about it that way, you could end up successful on paper, but completely misaligned in reality. So I'm going to be sharing 5 points that you need to be considering as a Christian thinking about buying a business. So stay with me. Point one, profit versus purpose. The first thing you need to be honest about is your motive. Why do you actually want to buy this business? Is it because you genuinely believe you're called to steward it? Or are you chasing income, security, or even status? Because those things can look very similar at the start, but they feel very different over time. And if the foundation is just money or escape, you'll feel it when things get difficult, and they always do. Point two, due diligence versus discernment. The second thing is this, and this is where balance really matters. You can't replace wisdom with prayer. Faith doesn't remove the need to understand what you're buying. You still need to look at the numbers and understand the risks and ask hard questions about the business model. But at the same time, you also can't rely on only logic and ignore discernment, because some deals look terrific on paper, but something just isn't right. And as a Christian, you don't ignore that. You pay attention to it. The Bible reminds us in Proverbs 14:12 that there is a way that appears to be right, but in the end it leads to death. And that's a warning that human judgment is often flawed and deceptive, leading to destructive consequences. Point three, what you're really acquiring. When you buy a business, you're not just buying income, you're stepping into a system that already exists. That means culture, habits, leadership dynamics, and sometimes unhealthy patterns. So the real question is, am I stepping into something I can actually lead with integrity? Or am I inheriting something that's going to slowly pull me in the wrong direction? Point four, capacity and pressure. The fourth thing is capacity, because ownership sounds exciting, and it often is, but leadership carries weight. And when you buy a business, people are depending on you. Decisions have consequences and pressure increases. And one of the fastest ways to burnout or to making poor decisions is stepping into something you're not ready to carry yet, not just financially, but mentally and spiritually. Point number five, the identity trap. Finally, this one is subtle, but it is important. You need to check your identity, because sometimes we don't actually want a business. We want what we think it gives us: control, recognition, freedom. And none of those things are wrong, but they're dangerous if they're driving your decision, because no deal will fix something internal. Look, if I'm honest, in the past I started a business that looked great, the time was right, the market was there, and I would have had first mover advantage in a lot of ways, but within months I felt unbearable pressure, total misalignment and constant tension, not because the business in itself was bad, but because it was never right for me to begin with. And it became a huge mistake, one of the most painful experiences of my life that I deeply regret, even now, many years later. I regret it financially, I regretted how it affected my family and relationships with some friends. And buying a business can be an incredible opportunity, but for a Christian, the question isn't just, does this deal work? Is this something I'm actually called and equipped to carry? Because you're not just acquiring an asset, you're taking on responsibility for people, direction, and impact. If this helped you, please share it with another entrepreneur who needs this perspective. And if you want more content on faith-driven business, leadership, and purpose, please do subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.